Yeah, hi there, and these comments are for one of my online TOEFL course students. I'm looking at your paragraph. So the idea was to simply write a paragraph focusing on one of the key points in the thesis about why the automobile is the best method of travel compared to the airplane or the bus. Right? So for you, I read the essay. I'm going to put you at, let me make this a little bit bigger. I'm going to put it at 2.75 out of 5, 18 points out of 30, or 73 on this. So I'm looking at the rubrics here. I think inadequate organization. You tried to bring up too many different things. That's not the way you show depth and complexity of thought in writing. So just too many different ideas. You also have some inappropriate word choice or word forms, a large number of errors in sentence structure and or usage. Alright, so what am I saying? Okay, so you say the best advantage of traveling by the automobile is convenience, because while you're driving a long distance, I would put here the second person's not going to work very well, because while I would just say while I drive long distances, I would just say it like that. I want to feel comfortable and safe. Then you might see here, a couple of years ago, I used to have a domestic trip. I would probably here say take. I used to take a domestic trip from Fergana to Smartland by the bus, and it took me about 8 hours, maybe comma here, which is 570 kilometers to get there. I think here, because works better. Cause effect, because the vehicle was huge, old, and unmanufactured. The driver had to stop 5 times to fix some, I would put here, to fix some mechanical problems. Also, the problem was that a lot of children at the ages of approximately 5 through 7 have been traveling with me. Children will drive you crazy. I got an 8-year-old, no kidding. Hence, it was very loud, annoying, and uncomfortable. Another reason why I prefer traveling by car to traveling by bus is safeness. This is the problem. Why are you bringing up this idea? The key here is to only focus on one idea within that paragraph, not two. That's how you get the depth in the writing, right? So I don't think it's a good idea here, but let's see what you said. Another reason why I prefer traveling by car to traveling by bus is safeness, because long distances I would say make maybe drivers feel tired and sleepy, which could end up with an accident. And passengers, I would put here instead of you, passengers don't know how. When you're using noun clauses, you want to use statement word order here, not question. So passengers don't know how the bus driver feels. Or whether he output has drunk coffee or not. Okay, so the problem is we got to look at this convenience thing. What does convenience mean? Here's a definition. The state of being able to proceed with something with little effort or difficulty, but I don't really see how all these examples here really illustrates that idea. So unfortunately, a lot of this doesn't really fit with what we're trying to do. So I don't think you have a really unified idea. Your topic sentence along with your support information, it doesn't really fit very well. Okay, so in the essay that you wrote here, you got 275. So I'm going to show you how to make a more unified paragraph here through two important things. First, you want to make sure the topic sentence and then the relevant supporting details, everything matches, right? And then you're trying to develop your idea so you can show some depth and complexity of thought. Okay, so this is your paragraph. Here is a revision of what you wrote. So it says, the best advantage of traveling by the automobile is convenience because unlike the airplane or the bus, it takes little effort to use my car to get to where I want to go. Notice how when I use the word convenience, I kind of define that idea when I said it takes little effort. So that idea kind of supports the point of convenience, right? For example, last year my friend and I decided to travel to a city a few hundred kilometers from my hometown of Fergana. Instead of having to book reservations online many months in advance before my trip, so I could avoid paying excessive flight fees, we decided to go by car. In addition, we considered taking the bus, but then I would have needed someone to drive us to a bus stop, and I would also have had to make reservations in advance to get my ticket. Both of these methods we decided were too difficult for us, so we went on our trip by car. The only thing we had to do on the day we began our trip was to put our bags in the trunk, fill the tank with gas, and program our smartphones so they could give us a map to our faraway destination. Therefore, driving by car on our trip was the most convenient form of transportation for us. Notice in the final sentence of the paragraph, I restate the purpose that's mentioned in the topic. So there's that unifying element there. What you did with your paragraph, you kind of went off a cliff. Instead of focusing on convenience when you got to the end of your paragraph, you went into an entirely different direction by talking about safety issues. So the idea here is to bring up a point in the paragraph in the beginning, state it as a generalization, and then follow that topic through that paragraph with specific supporting detail. That's what you're trying to do. Unfortunately, that is what you did not do. So consider some of these changes in your writing in terms of when you're making paragraphs to try to create these really highly developed, nicely coherently organized paragraphs. All right, so now the question is, what are some things that you can do at this point to improve your writing? Okay, so I'm going to look in the grammar part of my course first. So you seem to have considerable problems with sentence structure, right? So what are some things that you can probably work on? Let me take a look at a few things. I think word forms, understanding adjectives, adverbs, nouns, and adverbs, understanding when to use those. So word forms, lesson 12 is good for you. I think verb tenses, lesson 17, take a look at that. Okay, what else here? Lesson 25, I think, understanding comma splices, run-ons, and fragments, and getting kind of a handle on that. I think lesson 28, using commas or not using commas, you can probably review that in your writing. Okay, let's go to the writing part of my course. I'll recommend a few things here. There is a really good lesson I think is going to help you with this. First of all, I have a lesson. It's writing lesson 5.5. It's how to show depth and complexity of thought in writing. So check out that lesson. The other one is 5.6, writing the perfect paragraph. So go through that lesson and check that out. And I think those two should get you going in the right direction. Then maybe one more is lesson number 8, how to make your writing more coherent. So you can check that one out too. Alright, so you got a midterm coming up. So think about some of the suggestions and the changes in your writing and try to incorporate these things into your paragraphs in your essay and get ready for the midterm that's coming up.